Welcome to the Mummy Movement podcast with me, Sam Sardette. Each week we're going to be chatting about real mum life, the highs, the lows, having a good laugh, and hopefully you can relate to myself or some of the mums and their amazing stories each week. Please follow on all social media platforms and on Spotify, Apple, and just enjoy.
Well done, Elise.
Yeah, thanks, babe. That is mum brain for you.
Yeah, so then once we got settled and everything, and then I was on antidepressants for about 2 years, and then I came off them, and I said to Terry one day, Joe was about 3, and I said, no, it was about 2.5, and I said, I'd love another baby, and he went, and he actually pulled over in the car. Pulled over, we nearly had an accident, and he said, right, you need to explain to me right now why you want another baby. And I said, well, because there was 8 years between Joe and Danny, and I said, Danny's going to get to teenagers, he's going to want to go off and do his own thing. Yeah. I said, and I don't want Joe to be brought up as an only child. But then I had the horrible year, because I had 2 miscarriages in a year.
Oh my God.
And it was the most, honestly, the most horrendous thing I went through. And so after that, I was obsessed with becoming pregnant, and then I did eventually get in, but it was just, that was so traumatic, because I was just desperate for another baby.
Yeah.
Just desperate.
Do you know what, that's the thing, what I always find so, I can imagine so hard, like touch wood, I've never had to go through that, but how you think, oh, I've had 2 kids already.
It took me 18 months to fall for Joe. I mean, Terry and I got married, and every month I was like, why am I not falling pregnant?
Yeah.
And then, because I think there was such a big gap between them, and then I fell for, but it's so funny, because when I had George, I went for my scan, they went, no, this isn't a viable pregnancy either, so I thought, what, this is the 3rd one in a year now? And then Terry said no, and he paid for me to go and have a private scan, and I wouldn't even look at the screen, and then she said, no, you need to look, Lisa, have a look, and there was this tiny, it looked like a little thing that was like a biro, like, like a little, what you're stabbing, you could see the heartbeat on the screen, and I just went, and I was only 5 weeks, and I had a fantastic doctor who told me to take half an aspirin every day, because they thought that my blood was thickening too quickly.
So the NHS, you went to NHS,
and
they said no.
They basically booked me in for a little operation to get rid of everything.
No.
So thank God I didn't go with that.
Oh my, well, good job.
I know.
Do you know what that is? It's like, good job your husband as well. I was like, no, I'm not having it. And it's like an instinct in you, isn't it? Like, no.
We were both drained, because it was the third time in that year that I'd got pregnant. I thought, I was so desperate to have another child. And then all the way through, I got scanned every 5 weeks, because he was quite small.
Well, that's good that they did that though, to keep on top of it, and it gives you.
And I even said, I'll pay. I said, I don't mind. They said, no, you can do it for the NHS. But I had a fantastic doctor.
Yeah.
And so luckily everything was fine until the birth. Then he swallowed his meconium, and it was pandemonium in that room. I had doctors coming in from everywhere, and really? I just remember I had the most. If you give me that labour any day of the week, I'd go through that 1,000 times. It was the most lovely. It was only a few hours, and I just couldn't wait to meet him. But then when I knew my midwife, she was a friend of mine, she said, right, I'm not going to scare you, but he swallowed some meconium, and we need to get him out now. Yeah. Got him out, they took him away from me, and he was covered in poo. And I went, as I went to give him to me, I went, no, clean him up, because he had it everywhere. But I just remember looking at him, and he had the squashiest little nose, and I was like, oh, he's here. Because I knew I was having another boy.
Yeah.
So I would have loved a girl, but I just think I'm just supposed to be a boy mum.
Yeah, do you know what? I think that's it. And I mean, I think you went through enough to think, probably think,
I didn't care in the end. I didn't care.
And you, at the end of the day, you've had your healthy babies. It's like, if you've gone through that trauma, you think, right, it don't matter. As long as they're healthy.
And because he was laying transverse, they were trying to turn him, and then I went 9 days over, and I remember waddling up the school, and everyone was laughing, and I was huge. I thought, because they told me he was going to be small, but he wasn't. He was £8, so he wasn't that small. Joe was £8.9.
Oh.
Yeah, he had to be, didn't he?
Oh my God.
Yeah. £8.9 he was, so £8.9, and I'm not that big, and it was like, I mean, I just after I was like, oh.
Yeah. Oh my God. Do you know what it is though? I feel like no one really talks about the aftermath either. Like you said, obviously you went through your birth with Danny
was 24 hours, but obviously it's so traumatic, because I just didn't have a clue what to expect. With Joe, I couldn't have any pain relief, I was too far gone, but then he wouldn't latch on, so that was the first indication, which I didn't know about, that he had problems swallowing and whatever.
Yeah.
But like with George, it was just, he latched on straight away, and after I had him, I said to the midwife, do you mind if I go and have a bath? And she sort of went, You can have one if you want. And I was going around to all the new mums and chatting to them. They're all asking me, and she went to me, do you know, I'd love to have someone in here like you every day. She said, because I knew what I was doing. And I kept saying, can I go home? They went, no, you have to stay for 12 hours. I said, I want to go home now. Yeah. I couldn't wait to go home and just have him at home.
Yeah. So he was a quick one, George.
Yeah, I went in. I think my labour pain started in the night, and then by the time we got to the hospital, I'd left my handbag on. I said, Terry, let's go back. He was panicking so much because of what happened with Joe.
Yeah.
And then we got in there, and then literally, I think we got in there about 3 in the afternoon, and all of a sudden they went, you're fully dilated, but I just couldn't wait to meet him. So I was such a good girl. I mean, how these? I don't get women that scream their heads off, because I just think all I kept thinking was there are millions of women all around the world giving birth at this point, and I'm not going to be that one there and go, oh, she's a pain in the arse, that woman.
Do you know what though? I feel like, I don't know about you, but I feel like you have to get into the zone. I literally just like zoned out. No one could have been around me, and like
I was eating a tuna and onion sandwich. I didn't want to put a gown on. I said, you know, put him on an empty. I was eating a tuna sandwich.
Oh, God.
And Terry was sitting there reading the paper, and my friend was in there with me at the time.
Is this third time?
This is third time.
Right,
and I kept saying, and I kept taking the gas and air out to have a bite of my sandwich, and then I was giving a bit to Terry. It was just hilarious, and I just was so, and we had music playing, and
because you know as well, that's it.
I just can't wait for him. I just, as long as he was healthy, because I'd gone over so long, and I tried all that castor oil with the orange juice to set me off. All that did was give me the runs. It was lovely. You know,
probably why he had his meconium in the bloody womb.
You know, as I said, he got very stressed at the end because he kind of got a little... Joe, this is what Joe was like when I had Joe. Not only did he have a head that was the size of a lion, he had his hand up. So I had to get his hat and his arm out as well as his head. Yeah. So I was not in a good place. Yeah. You know, it wasn't nice. I said to Terry, start the business, like, you know, this is not the business end.
But this is what the stitches. Did you have stitches?
No, I had internal with him.
Oh, but still, it's just like that. I felt like stitches, or even the healing afterwards.
Well, they don't tell. Listen, I know this is a bit graphic, people. Sorry about this, but like when you do your first poo.
Oh my God, Lisa, it's so funny. Honestly, I've had the amount of months that we've spoken about on this. The first poo, the most painful thing.
I mean, you're
ever.
Literally clenching where you should be relaxed, but you're holding on for dear life.
No, but you had to develop a technique to it, didn't you? It's like you're clenching, but you're releasing at the same time.
But years ago, when I had Danny, they gave me like it's called Epiphone to put on down there to numb it all, but it still didn't work. Yeah. But I just never forget that. And at the time, you think I'm never having any more. But you do forget that. I know. You do. I feel like as well for me. I obviously I've got the 2 girls, and everyone's like, oh, you're gonna. I bet you've got. How big were they?
Not bad. 6 pounders. Quick.
See,
nice and easy.
Danny was 7,
I can't
15,
imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Like honestly, and that was hard enough as it is. And but everyone does the whole, oh, are you going to try for a boy? You're going to try? No. I've got my 2 girls. I'm happy. I'm done. Like, and I bet you've got that as well. Like with your boys. Oh, you're going to try?
If I'd have had a bigger sort of network of family to help me, I probably would have tried to go for a girl. But then the doctor did say to me, he said, I know this is, you know, he said it might be. He said, I'm not saying it might be that you can't carry girls. He said it might be. That's what it might be. Because I'd already had a miscarriage before I had in between Danny and Joe, but they thought that was ectopic, and at that time I wasn't really in a position to be having a baby because Terry and I weren't even living together, and I was a bit like, oh, you know, my mum and dad are going to kill me. It's like, you know, I'm going to have another baby now out of wedlock, and we don't even live together. So that one was not so traumatic, but the other 2 after that was absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
Because they don't tell you what to expect.
No.
And it's afterwards, like you don't get any help, so no one comes and phones you and says to you, are you okay? You know, because I was like 3 months with each of them.
So how long ago was that now? That was quite a
while.
while.
That was George is 22. Yeah. So, it was over that year before I had him. And then obviously, so it was a couple of years, so it's 24 years ago.
See, I don't know what it's exactly like, so I'm not going to obviously say too much about it. However, I just based off friends that have gone through it, I feel like in that space, nothing's changed.
No, it hasn't.
Nothing's changed in that. Honestly, I've got friends that just left.
Because in your brain, you're preparing mentally for this baby. You're thinking about baby names. You're thinking about how you're going to do the nursery, and that's what I wanted to know. I thought, if I'm having another boy, I'm just going to keep the room the same because it's only 3 years. But it's like all these things and like names and when the baby was due, and it just gets taken away from you straight away, and no one is there to give you any counselling at all.
100%. Yeah, I know. And then you do, and if you have your honestly, I couldn't.
And it's the physical side. No one told me what to expect because the first one, they said, I thought I was about 10 weeks, and the sonographer was so well, no, she said, there's no way this fetus is that much. She said, I think this has been gone from about 3 weeks. So I had, like, that was all in me, so that all had to come away.
Yeah.
And no one tells you.
It's that thought process as well, how much you've carried, not knowing.
And then the thing is, because my boobs are still big, and I was, everything looked like I was still growing, and it's like nobody actually prepares you for that, and it was really traumatic. Then to go through it again, I was absolutely devastated, and that one was horrific because they actually wanted me to go in because I'd lost so much blood that they wanted me to go in, and I said, you ain't going anywhere near me. I said, no, you're not.
Yeah, but you've got your 3 boys,
healthy
boys.
Yes, I've got them.
And so obviously, Mummy, you're on your social media, everything like that. Sort of going back to, I suppose, a lot of people know you from Goggleboxer as well. Talk to me, like, how that even started.
Well, I was thinking about it, and I thought, God, 5 years ago, just turned 50, and then we were...
you had your recently, birthday, round Christmas time.
Yes, I know, it's always bloody Christmas, isn't it? What a horrible time to have a birthday.
I'm New Year's Eve.
So's Terry, so's my husband.
Oh, really?
We're just talking about it in the car, it's awful. What a horrible day to have it.
We go away for it.
We do, we go away every year, because he says that every person that never goes out during the year goes out on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I hate, and also, aside from that, I don't really like New Year's Eve anyway.
It's a lot of, and it's a lot of money to spend. Everyone goes out in black tie, and that's funny.
And it's the same thing, because it's just like...
And he hates it.
Yeah, same.
So anyway, we had on my 50th, and then literally we had COVID straight away. And then we were sitting there, it was in the June, and then Joe put a TikTok on about Rate My Family. Anyway, a day later, he's come downstairs. Obviously, we were all together, which was actually quite nice, because you don't spend a lot of time with your kids when they get older. So they had to stay at my house, so it's nice to reconnect with them. Then he said, oh, I've had a lady from casting from Channel 4 wants to know if we want to go for an audition for the Gogglebox. And I went, what's her name? I said, that's fake, Joe. So I googled, like, she was actually casting, like...
So had you had the TikTok, like, for a while before? Or
well,
it was just like a random...
I mean, TikTok started in COVID, so there weren't that many people, not like it is now. So I thought, oh, this is a joke, someone's winding us up. So then anyway, no, it was somebody from Channel 4, but the process went on for 3 months. So we had people coming round, producers, to see where we could film it. The van had to stay outside. And then we didn't get told. We had a lot of interviews, Zoom calls, whatever, all of us as a family. We didn't get told we were going on till the night the show came out. Do you know the funniest thing ever? The funniest thing ever was that our manager at the time phoned and said, yes, you're on, you're going to be on the show. She said to me, but Lisa, you need to tone it down. And I thought, you know what, I'm so loud and I don't stop talking, and I'm like, and she said, you've got to tone it down. So we did go. I mean, we weren't on it in the beginning that much.
But did you tone it down?
Yeah, well, I had to. But it's just, and that's how it all started. And then we were on it on and off because of COVID, and then we were on it quite a lot, but it was so restricting for the boys. They were 17 and 23, whatever Joe was. And we only could film at weekends because we all, like, the boys had jobs and that. So we had no social life at all. And we did it for 4 months. It was getting harder and harder. We were starting to argue a lot.
So how often do they film it? Weekly?
Once a week.
Bloody
hell. But they'd come at 12, and sometimes they'd still be at our house at 11 o'clock at night. And it was a lot. And then by that time, I was so tired. And of course I had to have some wine while we were filming. So after a couple, I'd be like, Then the boys would get annoyed with me because I'd repeat everything that but
I would have to, 1,000,000% have to do the same. I couldn't get through that without
I put on so much weight because we'd have a takeaway once a week, and I'm not a massive takeaway. So we'd have snacks all over. It's a very... No one knows what goes into making that show. It's a lot. People just think they rack up with the telly screen, you watch it, there's a lot more involved.
Do you know what though? I didn't realise how I watch TV differently. When you're on it, once you've been on it, and like when I was on The Apprentice, it's like 12-hour days. You're filming, and they fit it into one hour.
Sometimes we'd be told, you're on 6 times tonight, and it'd be like one of us going, or ooh, and it was just bizarre because it was a bit like. And I started saying, Terry was starting to get the said, I don't want to do it anymore. And then we had a family discussion, and then we just thought it just would be the best time to go because the boys were getting offers from people and they couldn't take any offers up because we were contractually obliged with Channel 4 not to do anything. And then from Gogglebox, they kind of got a platform and dragged me into it.
I love that. I love that. Well, how did you find that? Because obviously I met you before at that event and stuff, and I honestly, people were like pulling you left, right, and centre.
I can't. Do you know I've got imposter syndrome? I still don't get it now.
But
we went to Gracie's podcast at Wembley a couple of nights ago, and Kane, Joe's boyfriend, had to take me to the toilet because he said, "Do you really want to go?" I said, "I'm bursting. I need to go to the toilet." I just got absolutely mauled. But like, do you know what? It's although like it can be a bit much, I love it because I think it's validation that I'm doing something right.
Yeah,
if people didn't want to, no one's been horrible yet. I mean, we've had a lot of trolling online, but whatever. But I don't care about that.
Standard though.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. But everyone is so super nice all the time.
Well, that's good.
And it was really lovely. It's mental, but no, I mean, like, I don't understand it one little bit.
Do you know what it is? It's like for me. So I actually went to. I'm terrible with TikTok. I don't know anything about it. I'm like.
It's hard to navigate
Instagram through
TikTok.
Instagram through and through. I don't really understand. Either way, I've got a younger sister who's 19 and she's like, oh, you need to get more on TikTok, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, when I went on the show, I started getting to post. My manager was like, you know, you need to post more, blah, 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 blah.
It's a lot of pressure.
Anyway, I had a PLT event come up and before, obviously, where I've got my kids, they're young, you know, the thought of going to these events, I'm like,
yeah, but I'm like that at 55 now. I'm like, I just want to go in my PJs and look like
yeah, that's exactly it. But this event came up. Anyway, it was your Joe's event when it was the prize one.
Oh yeah.
But because I'm so bad on TikTok, and I brought my sister along because she's 19. I'm like, oh come on, you know, I'm dragging her to footage. And also she's like, for her it's like wow. She's like, oh yeah, that's oh my god, that's Joe Bags, and I'm like. I recognised him from, didn't recognise him from Goggleboxer because he was in his drag.
Oh,
and he looked amazing.
I mean, as a woman, he would have looked amazing, wouldn't he?
Unbelievable.
I know.
But obviously I knew, but not from TikTok. But I just, like, honestly, I was like, wow, like, she was like, no, he's, like, amazing. Like, and how
he's so good at
big TikTok is as well. But he was lovely, so lovely, so down to earth and just, like, really, really nice bloke. And then obviously when I met you as well. And I just feel like, do you know what it is? It's like, if you are just a nice person...
I'm like, just being me.
Exactly,
what you see with me is what you get. I will not put on airs and graces for you. I know I swear too much, but, you know, I can't help that. That goes with the territory. Like, just because we weren't allowed to swear when we were kids. So as an adult, I just can't stop swearing. Do you know what I mean? But I can't help it. But I am just... How I am on Instagram and TikTok is how I am at home. Yeah.
It's
just chaos.
But I feel like that's the only way to be. I'm the same. I can't fake to be something else just to please other people. And you're going to please people. You're going to please some. Like you're never going to win with that. But no, that's so interesting. So you're on Gogglebox, and now you do. Your podcast.
I hate the word influencer because I just say to people I create content.
You're a content creator.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like we did the podcast because it started off with Joe and George, and then they're such different people. They wanted to get on different guests. They started to sort of clash a little bit. Then Joe said, "Do you want to come on?" And I had, but now Joe's kind of taking it in a different path, and he's kind of doing it on his own.
Okay.
But he's going to get me and George on every now and again, whatever. Because that in itself, as you know, is such a commitment doing a podcast.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
I mean, like the amount of prep and like trying to get the guests on every week, and it's a lot of organising.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm working. George is working.
Yeah, cool.
So, like, you know, so I said to Joe, look, I know how much you want to do it on your own. You go and do what you want to do. So we can help you out whenever. So I'm kind of not doing it as well. I will still be doing it next year, but like not, you know, as much.
Yeah, but you've got on it. So before all this madness, obviously you had the kids. Were you a full-time mum?
No, yeah, I was.
Then
my plan was as soon as Joe and George. You know, once they became like offhand and like George was at college, then he was going to get a job. I thought, right, now it's my turn to go in because obviously I had a dog as well, was always bloody poorly, bless her, God rest her soul. So I needed to be at home.
Yeah.
Terry works away so much, so then I thought, right, this is my time. So I was actually looking at the local Marks and Spencers, looking at just to get something like part-time.
Just something for you.
And then I signed with like the first agency that we were with, they were great. And then Joe and George parted ways with them because I was with them as well. So it made sense for me to go with the boys. And then I got HLD approach me, and they're more or less all female. I think they've got 1 or 2 boys. And they're Gracie's management, and it's just been the best thing.
Yeah. It's so mad, isn't it? You just don't think, because that, you know, similar to me, I've basically been a full-time mum. Obviously, I've kind of created a business around fitting it in around my kids where they're so young still. But I feel like you do get to the stage where you think, okay, once they're in school or whatever, that'll be my time. Once they're a bit older, that'll be my time. I suppose you never thought this would this would be your.
I mean, I just
career.
always wanted to be. I always wanted to be there from the school gates. I mean, you know,
Yes.
I just feel like. I mean, I had friends who had childminders, and they used to be heartbroken that they used to miss the school plays and the sports days. I didn't want to miss out on any of that, and we did go with that a lot because. Yes, I could have worked then, I could have had a childminder, but when I actually worked it out, we had worked it out one day, I said, it's not worth it.
No, it's not worth it, and honestly,
I do really feel for parents who've got no choice with that.
I know.
Really, my heart really goes out to them.
But equally, genuinely, based off like working before and my friends, being a full-time mum is actually the hardest job in the world.
Do you know what though? I don't know what you think about this, Sam. See, I get asked this question not about having the kids, right? So I personally, I'm probably going to get shot down for saying this, I don't feel like the actual process of looking after the children is hard. What I find is hard as well, alongside that, is the food shopping, the cooking, the cleaning, the ironing, the washing, the school run. Yeah. That was what I struggled with. And Terry was working 7 days a week. Yeah. And I used to just literally, I mean, I'll never forget going to the school gates one day. George was in the buggy going to pick up Joe, and I was a little bit early, and I remember standing up against the wall in the playground, and I could actually feel myself falling off to sleep because I was that exhausted.
Yeah, it is.
And Terry came home one night, and he walked in the door, and I was just feeding like a robot, feeding George, and he went, "Are you all right?" And the tears were streaming. He went, "Dad," I went, "I've never been this tired in my entire life." Yeah. And then he got George out of it. And I'll never forget once a neighbour did say to me, "Do you want anything?" George is only tiny. "Do you want anything done?" And I looked at Terry and I said, "Would you be able to help me with my ironing?" Because there was 5 of us. The washing machine was on every day.
I mean, it's good that you even ironed. I don't even iron. I'm like, if my fellow wants anything, I'm like, literally, I'm exactly the same.
Sam, I iron tea towels.
Oh, no, you're not a pants ironer.
No. I used to iron tennis socks, but no.
Oh my God.
Tea towels to keep really nice over the oven. Yeah.
I'm terrible. If it needs ironing, I'm not wearing it. I'm terrible.
No, I'm terrible at it. But and I love a routine. So I had my routine every day with the kids, and every night was bath time, reading stories. We were up at the same time every day, shower before school, and did their packed lunches every day. They always had a birthday party. They always, I did the whole thing. Yeah. So once they kind of flew the nest, I was a bit like, well, I need to do something now. Yeah. And it's great for Terry because he's always looked after all of us. Yeah. So now I can help and pay my way.
And that feels... It
does feel good.
But do you know what I always say? Because like my husband's the same, like he's the main, but he works equally. He's in town. He works Monday to Friday. On the weekend, he's with us. But, it's like I am the main... I care for the girls 24/7. But I think... the same as that, as much as they do contribute for, they bring home the bacon financially, your contribution is just as,
you're their everything.
But that, to look after, be able to have that opportunity, so I don't know about you, but my mum was working mum, like, I barely saw her, and I think having that opportunity to actually look after your kids, it's like, that is your contribution. They contribute financially. It's an equal contribution.
And that's we kind of made an agreement years ago because I remember I wanted to go back to work, and as I said about the child, there was no family to kind of help out, and I said to him, "Do you know what? I know it means we're going to have to go without a lot. This is why we used to go to Cornwall because it wasn't like going abroad, and we did go abroad now and again, but." I mean, I remember years ago, we went, I think George was about 9, and we went to Lanzarote. It cost us £6,000. I thought, in the summer holidays, I went, no. I said, I'd rather go to Cornwall for 2 weeks. Yeah. So we didn't have many, we did go abroad, but not very often. But now, it's just so nice because I've actually bought my own car for the first time in my life.
Oh, I love that.
Do you know what I mean? And I can actually not have to stress anymore.
It's that sense of just having it for yourself.
And I pay after towards the bills now. I pay after with everything with Terry. And I've paid for a few holidays. I took him away for his birthday last year, and it's just nice having that financial security.
Yeah, no, of course.
I mean, listen, I'm not silly. It all might end tomorrow, but I'm just trying to enjoy. And I'm also very savvy with my money. Where I was a single parent with Danny, I've never been a frivolous spender and like, chuck away Charlie, I'm buying this. I've never been like that. I'm really vigilant.
You still like a bargain.
Love a bargain.
I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. I feel like I always say to my fellows, like, no matter how much money we might spend, I'll always go for a bargain. Yeah. It's just knowing that you're utilising your money as much as you can.
Because I never had any money. So I lived off the bones of my arse for years. It was awful. And it was awful. And I'd never want that time back. So like, you know, when I met Terry, he was like my sort of knight in shining armour. But then obviously we had a mortgage, and then the other two come along, and you know, he's worked so hard. So now it's like my turn to sort of give a little bit back, really, which is nice. It's a nice feeling.
So how did you meet Terry?
Oh, do you remember? You might know this pub. Do you remember the Boar and Thistle in Woodford?
Oh my God, yeah.
There was Jets, Mortimer's, Boar and Thistle.
Right,
and I just wasn't going out that night. I just walked in the pub and said, excuse me, can I get to the bar? I didn't even drink then. Didn't drink till I met him.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
Yes, it's all got downhill since then. But, and he had hair when he met me. And then he just sort of said, oh, can I buy you a drink? And so we just got chatting, and then it was from then on, but he was actually going out with somebody else at the time. Who already had children as well.
Oh, really?
And then we just, but once we met each other, we couldn't get each other. I mean, he was just, I've been out some real idiots in between, you know, being a single parent, and we just clicked, and we just laughed, and then we were together on and off, because he used to say to me, and he was being honest, he just said, you know, I just didn't know if I was ready to take someone else on with someone else's child, I just didn't know if I wanted that, but he said he could never get me out of his head. So then he just literally, I got him one night, we'd split up again, it was near Christmas, it was on the 8th of December, and he phoned me up and he said, can I come round tonight? And I said, no. I said, we're not together, you're not coming round. He said, I've got something to ask you. So I said, right, okay. So I thought, I'm thinking, what? So he came round, got on one knee and said, will you marry me?
No, he didn't.
I went, what? We hadn't even lived together. I went, what? I said, you know what I said to him? I said, tell you what, you come back round here, this is on a Friday, so you come back round on the Monday morning with a diamond, then I know you're serious. Well, he did. So he asked me on the 9th of December, we got married on the 20th.
Oh my God,
we got married that quick, and everybody thought I was pregnant, and I wasn't.
And how long have you been married now?
29 years on Friday. Friday. And then we've been together 32 years. I know.
God.
Yeah, I know.
That is
do you know what?
Just amazing.
Everyone said it wouldn't last.
There you go.
So everyone.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So obviously you got your 3 boys, you've got like, I just feel like, so my thing is when my kids get a bit older, when they start meeting partners. So you've got, all yours got partners now?
No, I mean, Danny's not had a lot of luck with his relationship.
Oh really?
But I mean, he's 36 in February, but I say to him all the time, we're a bit of a commitment phobe, but he loves still going out. He loves going out with his mates at the weekend. He has had a couple of serious relationships that haven't worked out, and I think it's quite strange for me because it's not as if he's been brought up in a family where, I mean, like his dad met somebody more or less straight after I met Terry. It's not as if he's seen a lot of like angst between everyone, but he's quite happy doing his thing.
Yeah,
you know?
That's fair.
I did quite think that at this age I'd be a grandmother by now, but obviously that's not happened.
How old is he?
He's going to be 36 in February.
36. Oh. Do you know what though? With blokes, it's,
I know,
you know,
doesn't matter.
It don't matter, does it?
No.
So
I've kind of been, he had a lot of girlfriends when he was younger, which was fine. They always used to come every week, it's kind of been so-and-so, and I'd be like, oh God, you know, every week.
That's my thing. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. Obviously I've got girls, but with boys, like with girls, were you not like...
I think Terry would have been very, very different scenario, but like obviously then Joe, like when Joe came out, he was 15. So that was a whole new, because you don't get a book when you have kids, as you know, so you don't get a book that says if your child is gay, this is how you got to play it. And it was such a shock because he had girlfriends. So obviously when he first brought his first boyfriend home, it was completely new territory for us. And it is a real massive learning curve, and like no one tells you should do it like this. So we learned a lot in that process, but he's got the most amazing boyfriend. Now Kane is just the best thing that's ever happened to him. He's the most patient, kind, loving person. He has to be with Joe, let's be honest, because Joe's a handful. Joe's a bit like me, but like same with George. George has gone for years and not had a girlfriend, and I kept saying to him, I actually did say to him last year before we met Lauren, I said, I'm going to ask you this, and it doesn't matter what you say to me, but I said, are you gay? And he went, oh Mum, shut up. And I went, because you haven't got a girlfriend. And I know that he spoke to a lot of girls online. You know, but because I just wanted to, I started to think, why? Because then he started to sort of go within himself, and it wasn't going out, and I thought, is he worried about something?
Maybe that was to do with like, you know, he's got a bit of like online fame, so he probably gets a lot of girls trying to like...
He did go out on a few sort of blind dates which were disastrous, they were so funny, and then he said, I'm just waiting for that right person. So when he met Lauren last year, and I know he instantly, there was such an attraction, and I know he liked her from the get-go, and then when we met her a few months later, I mean, she came round for dinner, whatever, and then when she went home, I did say to him, I sort of opened up his bedroom door, and he said, "Do you like her?" And I went, "I'm going to be really honest," and his face dropped. I went, "There is nothing I don't like about her."
Oh my God, that is perfect.
So lovely, and they are so in love, and they've just got Eric, they've adopted that little rescue dog, and they've got a house in Epping now, and it's all going swimmingly.
Oh my God.
And I know everyone goes, "Well, that's his first girlfriend," but I said, "But he's waited so long." And he's had, I mean, I've seen some of the messages. I mean, I've seen some of these girls that have messaged him. I'm a bit like,
I bet.
And I said, do not reply. Do not reply, because they're very, like, people have messaged me saying things to me that what they want to do to my own son, and I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm a bit
I couldn't. But I think, obviously, they look at you and your husband as well, and you've set an
George and Lauren's
example.
role is very, very like mine and Terry's. George is a real grafter. Lauren used to live in Birmingham, then she lived in London, and now they've moved to Epping. She's now kind of jumped on the wagon with doing the online stuff, and she's doing really well at it. So like, and he's actually quite likes the fact that he likes looking after her. Terry did for years until we went skiing. Then he started saying to me, "You got to get a job." But she's earning her own little bit of money in her own right. She's doing really well now. But he loves that. Like, they sit in, they cook dinner every night.
That is so sweet. Well, that's all you want, really, isn't it? Especially like, I feel like with blokes, it's like,
he hates the clubbing and all that scenario. Hates it.
How old is he?
He's only just turned 22, but he's got quite an old head on young. And when you think really, he was 17 when we went on Goggleboxer. What he's done in the last 5 years. He's gone through more in the last 5 years than many people would ever experience in a lifetime. I mean, he's been travelled like not around the world, but like been to some lovely places. I mean, some of the people he's met.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably made him grow up quickly.
100%.
Yeah.
And then so him and Laura moved in together in March, and then where they moved to Canary Wharf.
The fact that they've got their own little gaff at that age as well, that's amazing.
You want to see his car he's got, but now he's talking about changing it again. He's had about 8 cars in the last 4 years.
Oh, he's a proper boy then.
Oh, he's a proper petrol head. But then Terry is. So
there you go.
And I'm like, I said, get a nice family car for the dog.
Then I'm like, only 22.
I know, but I'm like, I mean, this car it's like a Batman car.
Oh, is it?
It's beautiful. It is lovely, and I am really proud. But I'm proud of all of them. But like, you know, what he's achieved, and I'm really happy for him. But I'm like, get a family car.
Yeah.
He goes, no, Mum, not yet.
No, not yet.
I know.
And do you know what though? I feel like that's the thing for me. Like, I'm just like, if I meet partners, I'm like, oh no, it's like a big.
Do you know what you've got to do though? I've really learnt this. Because it has happened, when you don't get on with one of their partners, like Joe and I had a very tempestuous relationship for about years with someone that was not a very nice person at all, really not nice. And I will try my best to get on with anyone. That he was breaking us all up as a family. Terry and I were arguing. You know, every time he come round with this boy, George would go upstairs. We were like completely disjointed. And I've learned that even if you don't like somebody that one of your kids is with, you've got to really try. Because if you don't, your relationship will break down.
And it's almost like you've got to wait for them to figure it out for themselves.
Well, they did, because Joe moved down to Plymouth and we hardly saw him, and it was awful. And I mean, I went for
I bet that was really
It was hard, and then he would come back probably. I think he was coming back every other weekend, but it broke my heart because I didn't see him. And then he became quite ill with stress, and he ended the relationship and coming home. But that was the worst sort of. I think he was away for about 6 months. It was the worst 6 months of my life. It really was.
I bet. This is it. Like, I feel like.
Because as a mum, he's not there anymore. I can't protect him.
When you can't see as well, especially if you are so close.
And I knew he wasn't happy.
I
could tell on the phone he wasn't happy.
It's so hard. I mean, I bet that was so hard. But now he's how long
really
has he been with his?
He's been with Kane, about 13, 14 months. But Kane was in the theatre. He was an actor. They've got mutual friends. But he will do anything for all of us. Like, he's just a really kind-hearted bloke. And now he's doing the same kind of line of work that we are. Because as an actor, like, financially, it's such a rubbish job.
Oh, it's hard. Yeah.
So this year he's actually, I mean, although he's not in Panto or anything this year, he's going to his parents back in Leeds just for Christmas Eve. And you think he's driving back to us, because we're going to Joe in his house for Christmas Day.
Oh,
lovely.
lovely.
So he's coming home. So, but he hasn't spent a Christmas at home with his family for years because he's always been in the theatre.
Yeah, oh my God.
I know.
I think that makes such a difference though, doesn't it? When you can actually have people incorporate into your family.
Because last year we hardly saw him. Like, he was backwards and forwards. We had hired a house out in Arundel for Terry's birthday, so it was his 60th. And like he came for an afternoon, had to drive back to London, like to go in the show. And this year he hasn't got any of that. And he's nice. And he really helps me a lot as well.
The fact that he's probably thinking, that's a big thing as well. Like that, I think that's like, it's like the mums, that should be your respect. Like my mum-in-law, like I mean, I struck gold for her. She's actually lovely, but I feel like you've got to have that like respect for the mum-in-law, do you know what I mean? Especially with boys as well, because I can imagine like blokes, it's like they kind of, when they meet their partners, it's easy for them to kind of move away, whereas girls kind
they
of...
say, don't you, that a son is a son until he takes a wife, but a daughter's a daughter for life, which is true. Which is why that's the only dark side for me, but downside, not dark, about having boys is the fact that, you know, there have been times where it's just like I've got no one to go shopping with. You know, I mean, Joey's my style guru. He goes, no, you're not buying that. That's horrible. But like, and if we go shopping, it's like, and this is why I hate shopping, Sam, because he just goes to me all the time. You can't, and then I just go, right, I'm not buying anything. We'll go home.
Do you know what I bet? I bet if you had a girl, she'd be the same.
Oh,
she'd probably be the same.
Nightmare.
She'd probably be worse.
I bet she'd be a bloody nightmare. Mind you, when he dresses up in drag, he does look a little bit like me when I was younger.
Oh, really?
He'd FaceTime me the first time we did it. It was a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Phone was gone, FaceTime exchange. I thought, I was trying to watch Strictly or something a couple of years ago. So I picked up the phone and I'm looking at this person who sounds like Joe but looks like me. And then the penny dropped and I screamed. Terry's come running upstairs. I went, look at him. Terry was like, just staring at him. But he went, Terry went, God, he just looks so gorgeous. And he does look.
He did.
The only thing was, I've had to try and teach him how to walk in heels because, you know, like men, when they put heels on, it's the funniest thing ever.
But when I saw him in the drag, it weren't heels, it was bloody platforms.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, I don't know how they do it.
To tuck everything away and
oh my God.
wear a corset and, oh no.
No, I couldn't. I don't know how we done that all night.
But I said to him, I have to wear an all-in-one. When I go, to suck all the fat in. I said, so now you know how I feel.
I mean, I don't wear a heel. I literally...
I can't walk in the Sam anymore. I've got too many bunions.
I'll do it. I'll do a heel
little
boot,
heels
on,
but not like, do you know what I
mean?
mean?
Boot at most, yeah. But no, I feel like it's it's one of those things where it's just like you go through motherhood, and that's the whole point of this podcast is like talking to all different mums through different stages of motherhood and kind of like everyone's story is different and how they've like gone through it, because as much as there's not one rule book for it.
No, there's not. And if you had a manual, your life would be so easy.
Yeah.
And they're all so different. That's the thing. I mean, George and Danny are so alike. Even though they've got different dads, their mannerisms and everything, they're really like silly together. But Joe is getting more like Terry. Joe can be quite deep. Right. But they're all so different in their own ways.
Yeah.
But like they're all just, but you know, I absolutely adore them all. I mean, my life would be nothing without them. Do you know what I mean?
I know, but that's what it is. I feel like when you have kids, it's like a real purpose in life, and everyone goes through different stages of it. But then, you know, what else?
Me and George last week, to tell you, prime example, we're like a couple of little kids. We're trying to film this advert, and then I got a fit of giggles. Then we could not film this scene because we were crying with each other, and we had to do something with Joe Saturday. And then Joe stormed off because he went, "You two are so unprofessional." But I said, "I'm going to actually wear myself in a minute." I was me and George are terrible.
Yeah.
But he says, but George tells me off more than Terry does.
So do you think George is more like you? And then
he's very strict with me.
Oh really?
I mean, I'm actually, my next tattoo is going to be "Let Me Live," because when it is, they want me to get
so
it
it's
there,
like
Teresa. But like George goes to me, "Mum, pull yourself together, Mum." I mean, when we did the red carpet, the NTA's first time, I was so starstruck that I was going, "Oh my God!" And George just grabbed mine and went, "Mum, stop it! Come over here, I want your photographs." And I was going, "Oh my God, look at this!" Oh, and I'll get told off all the time.
It's so funny that it's the other way around now.
I know. And like, they always tell me off about drinking too much, and I'm like, "Oh, let me live," you know.
You've got to do it.
But they're telling me to get it there, like Talisa. I said, "I'm not doing that." But like, because they just said, "Leave me alone."
Yeah, you've done your time.
I'm 55 now.
You've done your time. Let me live.
I mean, listen, I can't drink like I used to. I mean, honestly, a couple of Prosecco's and I'm done now. We went to Joe's launch party on Thursday night. I mean, it was just absolute. It was trauma the next day. I woke up and thought, "Oh my God, I feel like I thought I was dead first of all."
So you don't grow out of it then. To be fair, my mum's worse now. Like do
you know what? February, I stopped drinking wine because I put on a lot of weight and I was drinking way too much wine, so I kind of swapped for Prosecco.
Yes.
And it's a lot kinder to me.
It's lighter as well.
Much lighter, which is why, you know, I've lost weight, and, you know, because I was just drinking so much wine, I'd wake up the next day and just feel so ill.
The wine head as well.
Yeah. And then, you know, your belly's bloated. And I actually, if Terry has a glass of light rosé now and he says to me, "Have a sip," to me it tastes really acidic.
Right.
Whereas with Prosecco now, I mean, and I don't know about you, Sam, but like a bottle for me, Prosecco is enough because you're so full of fizz then, can't drink anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I started getting into Joe's little new cans of cocktails that he's got, and they are very strong.
Oh, really?
So that's why we drunk them at Gracie's thing, and I don't even really remember getting home on Sunday night, to be honest with you. But I thought, do you know what? I don't go out very often.
And also, let me leave.
I know.
Like, just why
do you know what
not?
though? I have always been this kind of mum. I always get up in the morning. I've never laid in my life. Because I went to work at the age of 16. I left school and I had 10 days off, and I went to work at Barclays Bank. So I've always got up early. Then I got pregnant. Then I've got married. I've always got up.
Yeah.
And you will never ever find me. I'm not this mum that goes, oh yeah, I'm not going to get up. I've always got up.
But you have to. I feel like you couldn't. It's like an instinct in, like, that's the same with me. Like, I'll go out, like, my fella, he'll go out and he'll be written off for the whole weekend, and I'm just like, no. I'm like, come on.
You have to get up. You've got the kids. And it's not the kids' fault then.
No,
it's not their fault that you're feeling a bit delicate.
If you're going to go out and you want to get that, I mean, obviously it's normally not planned, is it? But
yeah, it never is.
No.
They're all the best nights.
Yeah, of course. But then it's like, if that's going to happen, it is what it is, and you just got to get up and get on with it.
Because the kids. I mean, like Joe used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, not that I'd really drunk very much then, because obviously I was on tablets, whatever. But I used to sit there, and I remember thinking one morning, you know, it was only about 3, and we had all these Thomas the Tank Engines out on this little, and I thought, I know Terry moans and says, oh, why does he have to get up so early? I said, but we'll never get these times back.
Yeah.
I've got so much video footage, like proper camera, which we do need to get converted onto a proper stick. I've got some, and I've got some like of Joe and George. George was 18 months old in a little like baby growing. Christmas morning eating our box of dog's biscuits. I went to give it to the dog, and he was chewing it on the back of the dog. So we had a massive dog. It's like you never ever get those moments back.
That is so sweet, and it's so nice that you remember those little bits. I feel like that's like with me, like even my little girls, they're only 5 and 3, but my 5 she'll be 6 soon, and I'm just like, I said to her,
next thing it's senior school.
But this is it. And this is why I know how quickly the last 5 years have gone.
I know.
And it's
scary.
like, so it's
like 10 years for me.
You try, but it's like you try and catch it. So it's like you want to try and catch and capture all those moments.
The thing is now you're lucky because, you know, I mean, your generation is all like into phones. Like, I didn't even have a smartphone till I was about 40, which is why I'm still rubbish at using it, because I don't even know what half the things like work on there. Do you know what I mean?
No, but you say that, and I always say this to my mum, and obviously it was different, a bit different then, but she said it was easier then.
Oh, it was.
You could focus more on your kids because you haven't got the distraction of phone.
I mean, like,
and I half envy
I'd
that.
get the train home for work, and if the train was delayed, my parents didn't know where I was because there was no mobile phone. You had to go to a phone box.
Yeah.
You know, like there wasn't. I mean, life for me was a lot simpler. Although I look back now and I think I wish we could have had the medical knowledge that the doctors have got now, that what we had like 40 odd years ago when I was growing up, because. But then I always said to the boys, Christmas Day, we're all putting our phones in a bowl.
Yeah.
I'm not having that round the dinner table. Whenever I can't bear it.
Yes.
Like whenever we go, I always get told off, did you get any content? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So, and then I have to say to everyone, can you send me what you've got? Because for me, like,
you want to enjoy it as well. You want to.
I mean, first time I saw George Michael years ago at Wembley Arena, funny enough, when we was there, I was saying to Terry on Sunday, I went there to see George Michael. It's the first time I'd been since smartphones had been invented. Every single person had a phone. I was going, excuse me, I can't. And then my friend went, well, this is the sign of the times.
I know.
And it's
even
like,
that noise.
I had a camera.
I grew. Do you know what? It's like I'm like halfy because I kind of like grew up without phones, and it wasn't like it was the Nokias when I was like growing up.
How old are you, sir?
I'm 34. So yeah. So it's like I'm halfy. So that's why I'm not too much into the TikTok. But either way, that winds me up. If I ever go, I mean, I bet that was unreal though to see George Michael in concert. Like,
I saw him at Wembley Arena when he first started touring again. Then he did the stadium. That was that would cost me a fortune, them tickets. Then he did Earl's Court.
Wow.
And then the last time I saw him was Symphonica. I was funny enough. I was watching Wham again last night. Did you see that I met Angie Ridgely?
No.
I met Angie Ridgely.
Wow.
Joe did it as a surprise for me.
Oh my god.
And I didn't want to go. It's on my Instagram. You'll see I didn't want to go because I'd been in Edinburgh working and I was so tired, and I just said I'm not going. I thought, you can't be anybody massive.
Yeah.
And so I went through all the people that work for Sony Music, and I thought, it's going to be Tom Jones, or I thought it's not Elton John. So anyway, I spoke to my friend Denise and I said to her, right, I know you can't tell me, but do I go glam? Is it a man, or do I go in tracks? It should go glam. So I went full glam.
Yeah.
So mum. So anyway, so I went and I was so nervous. I'd already sort of spoken to Elise beforehand, Joe's PA, and said, can you just get me some Prosecco? Because I was shaking. I thought, where is it? So as I've had me a couple of glasses of Prosecco, walked in, and I just melted. And do you know what? I look back now and I think, it was so wonderful. However, I would have loved it. I know it would have spoilt the surprise, but there was so much I wanted to ask him. And there were so many things I said to him after. I thought, I know I got that wrong. But he was so lovely. He's such an articulate man. And he went in for the handshake. I went, bollocks to that, put my arms right round him. But then I kept
I would have done the same.
But I kept on. Like when we came out of there, he went to walk out. And I went, no, sorry, coming. I got him in for another hug. And I burst into tears. While we were standing there with him, I turned around and I went, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I burst because I went, this is just my child. I was sobbing. And Elise started crying, Joe was crying, all the Sony team were crying. I was absolutely sobbing. So I thought, I can't believe, I said to him, I had you on my bedroom wall. He was all right. I said, because he was really good looking, Andrew, originally. But then George, everyone thinks that George was the master behind it. Andrew wrote a lot of those Wham songs.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
I bet. But I feel like it was like George has always been like the
front man. He was 100%.
But still amazing.
I know. And then every Christmas day I can't help, but I always have to, because I always say I've got to remember my other George. I called my George after George.
Did you?
And I told him, And then Terry drew the line to it being George Michael bags. He went, no. He said, you're not doing that.
Have you watched Last Christmas?
Yeah. Because this is what it was for. This was a promotion for Sony to promote. Apparently they are bringing out footage of what we did, because they're doing like a big thing. But like I've actually sent on the group chat this morning, the family group chat. There's a retro, like extended EP whatever of Last Christmas. So I said, and if anybody wants to buy me that for Christmas, I was the biggest fan ever.
Oh, he is good. I mean, he's timeless, isn't he?
I know,
all his
but like
tunes
he died on Christmas Day, so it was the worst day of my life.
Oh God!
Absolutely, just ruined my whole Christmas.
I bet. Oh my God! So you must have found out on Christmas if you're like.
Well, I went to bed.
George fan.
I went to bed, and it was 8 years ago. So how old was George? George was what, 16. So I'd gone to bed, and Terry came in, and then woke me up about 10:15. I was absolutely wazzled. I'd had a day of it. I'd been up since 6. I was shattered. I had too much wine. I was going to bed. So Lisa, you got to wake up. So he woke me up and he went, George Michael's then, and I said the F word. So I said, oh, don't, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, and then I turned on the telly, and do you know what? I actually collapsed, and I burst into tears. And I always had a packet of fags in the cupboard. I'd given up smoking as an emergency. They come out of the cupboard. I was outside having a cigarette. As I'm putting one out, George is lighting one for me. Bye, George. I stayed up all night. And then the next day we were going away to Cornwall, so I was getting ready to go away. So my little George had put on George Michael all day, and I was an absolute mess.
God!
I was going to go for counselling. I was that bad.
Really?
Yeah.
But I do feel like he was so iconic. It was like a Princess Diana moment.
Well, that's the thing is, Terry coming and woke me up when she died and all. So I said to him, if anything ever happens again, don't wake me up till the morning.
Yeah, just let me find out in the morning.
But it just how can you? And do you know what? His sister died 3 years later on Christmas Day. George's sister. My hairdresser used to do her hair, and she died on Christmas Day 3 years later. Yep. She's been dead 5 years now, as I know. So yeah, it was
sad. It's so sad. But do you know what? At least he's got that legacy that like lives on now. I love how we've gone from mum life.
I know, it's George Michael.
I literally feel we could chat for ages. But I mean, right, so we'll I mean, it's, obviously we could probably talk about so much, but if you were to give, I mean, when you eventually do become nan, will you be a nan?
I'll be nanny. Well, Eric calls me. Well, no, doesn't call me. I say to Eric, "Come see nanny." So I don't know. I don't know if I know a lot of people don't want to be called that, but I love it.
Yeah, nan. We get all different. You've got to have like different ones. Depends.
Thing is, my family. Like I'm with Terry's cousin. He loves the family tree. And he did my family tree, and so my granddad used to tell me he was Italian. I'd love. No, I actually am Italian as well.
Oh, so nice.
So I think I should be called Nonna.
Yeah, you can. I'm half Italian. That's so weird. My mum-in-law's Turkish, Cypriot, so she's Nene, and then my mum's Nanny. So it's good. You could.
Yeah.
You could do Nonna and then Nanny.
Yeah. So I mean, you know.
So when your kids do have kids, what would be like your and to any new mums, anything like mums now with little ones, what is your main thing? Do you think that? Your main tip, your main advice to any mums, any new mums?
Do you know what I would seriously say, because I know I'm the biggest culprit for this, is I always try to do everything all at once.
Yeah.
And I look back now and I think, my God, Joey's going to be 28 next birthday, Danny's going to be 36, and I'm like, where have those years gone? And do you know what? Don't matter if you can't get the ironing done. You know, if it means they're having beans on toast, doesn't matter, because I bought all the Annabelle Carmel books. I had to, you know, I was just that. I wanted to be the best mum, and I look back now and I think they want your time.
Yeah.
It's like when I do, thank God willing, become a nan. you know, I don't care. I mean, I've learnt this now with working. I can't always get my housework done. I can't always get like the things that I've learnt that as I got older. My nan used to always say to me when I used to go around and see her, oh, can't you just stay another 10 minutes? I'd go, Nan, I can't, I've got to get back. And I feel like that time is the most important because you'll never get that back.
You're so right.
You'll never get that back.
Right. And I feel like, especially in this day and age, it's always like, right, I've got to be there, got to do this, got to do that. And it's like, it's so rare that we actually just sit and live in the moment.
When George used to come back from nursery, I'd give him his little snack, take him upstairs, and I'd lay down with him on my bed, and then I'd kind of shimmy off the bed because that was his nap. Sometimes I'd just lay there and just staring at him because I think I'm never ever going to get this time back.
I'm glad. Well, it's good that you did that.
Yeah, because I knew I wasn't going to have any more after him.
And take it in.
Yeah, and I did because I think having a baby like your teens, 20s, and 30s, you've got more patience.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I was like, I'm never ever going to get this back ever again.
But do you know what is so nice? The fact that you do have such a good bond with them still.
Do you know what we all get? I mean, Joe and I can clash, and we do argue, not a lot, but when we do, then there's the phone call like, well, Mum, you upset me, okay, just sorry, Joe, blah, blah, blah. But I get on with them so well, and we do talk about anything. Like, they know that they can come to me, and it doesn't matter what it is, they can just tell me. And do you know what? And I've had to learn over the years. Joe comes to me this year and told me something very personal. I didn't tell George. George was telling me things. And then when we had a family chat and it all come out, the boys were so stunned. And I said, I know I've got a big mouth, but you both asked me to not say anything. And I can keep a secret, believe it or not.
I think that is really important because
it's not always. I mean, I used to be terrible, but now I've learned to respect them. If they say to me, Mum, don't say anything, I won't say anything.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the thing. It's like, I always find like it's learning to adapt to different stage. Like motherhood is always changing, but you can really appreciate every single stage as they get older.
As soon as George went to primary school, didn't he want to kiss me? He turned and go, Mum, go, you can go now.
I'm already getting that with my bloody 5-year-old. She's always like, yeah, see you later, Mum. And I'm like, no, tell me you love me and give me a kiss.
I used to be there like waiting outside school with my arms wide open.
I know.
But then George is a hugger. Joe's not a very tactile person. Danny will give me a hug. Yeah. But like George is a real hugger. But Joe's a bit more, because Joe's like 6 foot whatever he is.
Yeah.
So my head comes up to his shoulder. He
is tall, isn't he?
He's about a foot taller than me, yeah.
Yeah, is your fella tall?
No.
Oh, so where's that coming
from? Well, I think Terry's mum's quite tall, my nan was as well, so I think that's where, but he is really, really tall. I don't know where that's come from.
I know, and then he wore his heels when he had the bloody, I don't know how he done that, but still amazing. But I think that's what it is. I think that is such good advice for anyone. It's just living in the moment.
Don't put too much pressure, because I used to put a lot of pressure on myself. They always had to look perfect, and sometimes even if they had Primark clothes on underneath, they always had a nice coat and shoes. Because I'd say to them, like the George Michael saying, sometimes the clothes do not make the man. That's out of freedom, and I'll never forget that. Because you can have. Yeah, it doesn't, because you've got really expensive clothes, it doesn't make you a nice person.
Do you know what? I think that's an Essex thing as well. Like in Essex, it's like a lot of like mums would have.
Well, I still go to Buckinghamshire, get in that lovely baby shop and get them a really nice coat and nice shoes. But as long as they had a nice coat and shoes, didn't matter what they had on underneath. Sometimes they'd have like tomato sauce all down the top. But I think no one's going to see it.
I know, but that's having kids, and it's like I've learned now. I used to, when they were little.
You want to keep them pristine, but you can't.
No, and then you think I bought them. I spent how much on this bloody set, and it's covered in crap now.
I know.
And then you can just get just as nice stuff like from H&M or Zara or whatever else, and even that. But I'm exactly the same. So it's like, it is nice. I think that is just like living in the moment. Don't overthink it. Take the pressure off yourself.
Yeah, because otherwise you can just drive yourself a little bit mad. And I still wake up now because got a little, as you can tell, a little bit of ADHD. I wake up in the night and my brain goes ping, ping, ping. When I was little, I actually write notes on a notepad, thinking I've got to do this, I've got to do that tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And, I had sheets everywhere of what I had to do. And I look back, I think, no wonder I was so bloody skinny when I was that age.
Yeah, oh God, no, but you do. You have to you can make yourself ill.
I was that mum that used to send the kids in when it was like a non-pupil day. I'd send them in like fancy dress when it was it wasn't supposed to be fancy dress.
That's what
Danny would come and he knocked on the door one day and he said, Mum, I'm not supposed to be in school today. I went, why? And then because I'd have it on a notepad, on a seat, and then I'd think, just calm down.
Yeah.
Because it's just
easily done.
Honestly, the mums used to absolutely wet themselves laughing when they see me at school days to go, oh, you're so funny. And I missed a whole sports day one day.
Oh,
I went up in the afternoon and it was in the morning.
I'm absolutely sure
that's
you're not the only one.
I'm never ever going to get back.
Do you know what? It's been so nice having you on there.
I know, it's been lovely.
And it's so nice just to hear about your just journey as a mum as well, because I feel like probably so many people just ask you more about what you're doing now, your TikTok and your Goggleboxer, but that is your, you know,
so a lot of people don't know.
your life.
There's not a lot people know about my personal life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, everyone thinks that there's been some tough times, and there's been times when I've just thought I can't do this, and it can be really hard. But I just look at the boys now and think, do you know what? I think I've actually done a good job here.
Yeah.
And I've pat myself on the back, and I think because everyone says to me how lovely that they all three of them are.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, honestly, I think that is you've success in
That
itself.
was my goal in life,
That's
to have lovely children, and they are lovely because they've been so successful.
Amazing. And anything else now that you do is a bonus.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
At 55, can't believe it.
Amazing. It was so nice to have you on.
Thank you, Sam, for inviting me.
And I mean, plans for the new year, for 2025? What you got?
Hopefully a lot of work.
Yeah.
Me and Terry need our first holiday abroad. We haven't had one in 10 years because we had the dog. So now she's not here, bless her. We finally need to get a holiday. That's a must.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else. There's just... Oh, we want to go on a family holiday, all of us together, because we have such... I mean, I love Terry to bits, but it's a bit boring when the kids are left home and you go with your husband on your own.
I know, it's only so much you can
It's
talk
a bit like
about. Yeah.
tumbleweed, you know, yeah. So we definitely want to go away, but I mean, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of exciting things with work.
Yeah, nice.
So just looking forward to what this year's got to bring.
Let me live.
Let me live, tat's coming, impending tat.
I can't wait. But no, it's so nice to...
I know, thank you.
And I look forward to seeing what you've got.
Seeing us at events, probably.
Yes.
Impending events.
Now. Thanks so much.
All right, darling, lovely to see you.
Thank you.
That's all right.
I did actually get you a little something. It's only a little
did
something.
you?
Yeah. Little... And
Is it Jason Momoa?
It's...
Don't listen, that's what I was going
Did
to say.
you see what I wrote on my thing? No, hold on. Do you know that I like Jason Momoa?
I love him.
You just said that.
No, I just absolutely adore him.
Oh my god, that is so
So
weird.
when I went to see Andrew Ridgely, I thought it was going to be Jason Momoa, and underneath my breath I'm going, Ella, because Ella went to me, no, it's not him, so I thought it was.
Lisa, I put on my store. No, he's like my ultimate. Yeah, it's only a little.
Is it Prosecco?
Oh yeah, cool.
Oh, well, I put the car away home. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
I love a glass of
Jason
rosé.
Momoa is my ultimate.
Oh
mate.
my
Oh
god.
yeah, she loves him.
Oh, I love
Absolutely
him.
loves
My husband, he's Turkish Cypriot. He's dark, and he's got all like the tattoos and
No, but
stuff.
see,
like
my
this.
husband, Terry's dark. No, we don't really know where Terry comes from.
Oh,
But my friend Steve, who does my tats, does a lot of old-fashioned American car, like he goes to all these seminars, whatever. Jason Momoa turned up, and I went, oh my God, and he said, Lisa, he is the nicest bloke. He said, what he does is, if the women want a picture, he'll say, get your husband here. And the women are like, because what he does, he put his arm around the wife, then he's got a hand on the husband's face. Like, and then he said he's such a lovely guy.
I love that.
I said to Terry, I said, if it's Jason Momoa, I'm not coming home. I said, I'm telling you now, that's my free pass.